Hello guys, welcome back. God of the Day just asked me not to curse so much, but I would think he would understand given the artistic process. But God of the Day is going to be the Norse god Bragi, who we're going to presume exist, or I shouldn't be sitting here wasting my time. You're going to find two camps of people, and I've firmly come to believe that the camp of people that say Bragi never existed as a god are the people that are my god more special. And obviously, some people can't see why you could have two gods of the same thing in a pantheon, and since we already have a god of poetry and wisdom and all these other awesome things in the meat of inspiration, why would we need a second one? They fulfill the same function. Why would you need Odin and Bragi? And that's a legitimate question. Why would you? Because they're Norse gods and they have a family. Don't ask me. I wasn't there. Nobody asked my opinion. I honestly don't know. We don't have the ancient people to go back to, no matter how much we communicate with our ancestors and say, okay, tell me why we have a god of this, and then his son does the same exact thing. It could be took up the family business. And it could be that Bragi was a god from over here doing his thing, and that Odin was a god from over here, and he absorbed some traits on the way in. We just don't know. So, assuming we take Bragi to be a genuine Norse god, and yes, I have some anger issues over the last couple days of research, um, why do we go to him instead of, say, going to Odin? Well, if you've dealt with Odin, you know Odin can either decide that it's a big, huge favor and he wants all the stuff in return. I'm feeling cold resentment, but it's true. Or Odin can decide he doesn't want to deal with you and he will block your inspiration and you will get the worst writer's block or singer's block or video recorder's block you've ever had. Or he'll give it to you, but it's going to go totally in Odin's direction. Never mind what you wanted to happen with it. And you're going to sit down at the end of the project, look at that, and think, that doesn't look like the god of poetry and inspiration gave it to me. So, you know what I mean, because we all think that if he has a son on this earth, it's Keith Richards or somebody like that. A screaming talent that millions or billions of people on the planet can see and recognize. That is what we all expect when Odin gives us inspiration. Not, oh, I wrote some poetry on my Patreon or I record on YouTube. We all expect to be that epic rock star, and very few of us reach it. So we have a god like Bragi, who kind of, I think, is the one that's better suited to go to because, one, I've never gotten all those demands. And two, as he's usually depicted as older himself, he knows when it's time for you to slow down. He knows when it's time to stop. Odin's kind of relentless and only has one direction, and that is forward. Bragi can hit the brakes and say, we're all tired, we're all artists, we need to sleep. You need to sleep. In fact, as I was doing this all day and getting progressively worse, he's actually the one that was like, you have to stop. Go lay down. And I'm like, I'm not tired, don't tell me what to do. Well, do you know I fell asleep? Yeah. So I'm going to actually unhook here so I can get up and get some coffee, but I don't think he's going to mind. And, okay, I should still be with you. And what happened is that I fell asleep because my body needed it. But you weren't going to convince me of that because I'm the artist and I know better. But he's very good for dealing with that artistic temperament, of dealing with that high-minded, I know best, I am best artist ever temperament. And you don't have to be famous to have that bad attitude. You just have to be artistic. Good coffee. And he's also the god that I think he's genuinely fond of artistic people. And they don't have to be famous. They don't have to be rock stars. Where his dad is more like, the more famous, the best, the better. I think Bragi goes out of his way to find the tiny, nondescript, small potatoes people like myself that we're never going to be famous, we're never going to write that New York Times bestseller, we're really not interested in fame, to be honest. But will we work with a Norse god who got famous in his own right? Yeah, we will. Now, he's also the god of, more so than Odin, I find, than of all the kind of crazy stuff you have to do during the artistic process, and it's different for everyone. I find these games help me to concentrate while I'm trying to talk to you. If it's on something else, I can be in front of the camera, no problem. But if it's a problem like this, lately on God of the Day, I think because the series has gone on so long, around 38, I just started to run out of the ability to be in front of camera and speak and put words together. And inspiration just came to me. Well, why don't you do this? People that really want to hear about the god aren't really going to care what's on the screen. And the people that don't, they're just not going to watch it. So it's actually working out my favor. And it's kind of like that. It's that kind of inspiration where it would seem insignificant to other people, and that definitely wouldn't have been Odin's solution. But it's working for me, and I'm just glad we found something that works. It's, it's not ideal to me. And I think people don't get that about inspiration, where it doesn't always come at the right time. Mine always comes at the end of the day. I'm dead tired. I'm dead tired. And YouTube has started a new trick for the holidays where a 20-minute video can take 4 hours or longer to upload. I don't care about the time of day, 4 hours or longer. Have fun. And I was complaining to him. I'd done his video already, uploaded it, decided it was garbage, and took it down. Artistic temperament. So he made me lay down. He said, why don't you record it at the end of the day? Nobody said you had to stay up until 4 in the morning, which I've done twice already, and 2 nights in a row, which is why I'm getting cranky and starting to slur. He said, why don't you do that? And then you can go ahead and go up and, sleep like a normal human being and come back down. He said if it was part of the artistic experience for you to stay up to 4 and you were really rocking on that and having your coffee and watching TV and having fun, he wouldn't care. But he said, you're getting angry and resentful about this. This is not helping you. This is making you hate the series and hate the channel. And first 5 recordings this round were me just blasting off about everything I hate about YouTube and hate about the recording process and hate about not getting paid to put all this effort in. And he was good with that. So he is a god of, artistic inspiration, and he is a god of, poetry, like his father. If you do believe he was a human poet, he was the very first of the human poets, and let's say it this way, he got so elevated by being personally picked out by Odin, All-Father, upon his death, that he was taken to Valhalla and is the first to greet the new warriors as they come in. Because he has this beautiful singing voice, this captivating, charming personality, this way with music and words. Kind of think Odin, but with a nicer personality. I'm feeling happiness from the Bragi part of the room and not so much from Odin, but you know what I mean, kind of more even-tempered. So a lot of those things that we do associate with Odin, like being charming, being older, being gifted and having a way with words, but imagine a smoother temperament with that, and there's not all that trickery in there. So he's fairly honest compared to his father, and he's fairly, even killed compared to his father. You're not going to get an unexpected Odin type rage or fit in the middle of a recording session if you're working with him. It's not going to be, why aren't you done? Da, da, da. He's very patient. He's actually the one that's known to cool people's tempers down. He's the one that, when Loki came into the party and was talking smack to everybody, Bragi is actually the first god to meet him and say, why don't you please calm down? And Loki said something rude to him, and he goes, I will give you everything. I will give you, I think it was his horse and all this other stuff. He offers him all this presents, and Loki, when he's in the mood to be an asshole, you can't stop him. I'm sorry, Bragg. He's he shouldn't swear so much. But when he's in the mood to ruin your day, he will. So Loki's like, no, I don't want your presents. And he starts saying something rude about Idana, and that was typical Loki behavior. But Bragi, bless his soul, was trying to reason with and be generous and kind to Loki. And anyone that's ever worked with Loki could have said, well, you were wasting your time right there. Because if he came in the door of that trunk, he shouldn't even bother. But he is the one that tries to get good frith with everyone. No, I wouldn't have wasted my time with Loki. I'm just saying, and I'm getting, hey, back here, but it's true. You know when Loki's in the mood for a fight, he's boiling for a fight, you're not going to talk him out of it. But Bragi, to his credit, did try. So Bragi did try, and had somebody not been in the mood to run his mouth, maybe we wouldn't have the last part of his history. And I'm getting, yeah, back here. But that's it. If Bragi gives you advice, and you go against it, it's not going to work well. So I did not want to go down for a nap today. I did not, because that feels like you're a toddler, right? When somebody is saying, why don't you go lay down, you're really tired. Don't you instantly feel like a belligerent toddler? No, I'm not tired. And I go in there and I'm laying down. And I'm grousing to all the gods I can that this isn't fair and I don't need to lay down and I'm an adult. And then at some point in the middle of my rant, I fell asleep and then I got up and I'm still like, he understands that. And he tried to explain to me very gently today. He goes, you know, being an older god, he's not going to be the one, you know, running around like crazy. You know, skalds aren't built for that. Skalds in the northern tradition are going to be appointed to a king or other powerful person who's going to be their patron. And their one job, and this is an extremely important job, is to sit around all day, basically in their time that they did this, make up the greatest rock ballads ever about that king, and make that king sound like the best king ever. That was their entire job, and if they sucked at their job, they lost it. So, you know, for someone to have to do that, that has to be all they do. They can't also be going out for combat training or being the one in charge of the royal kitchen or doing anything else. They need their private space. They need a place to go off and work, and they need to be able to concentrate on that artistic space. So he's a good one to talk to about getting yourself an artistic space. And I noticed a lot of stuff about the arts was popping up lately. I mean, yeah, because of what I watch on YouTube, but the one ad said, you know, the biggest block as a writer is not going to be you having a lack of talent. It's going to be other people interrupting you. Because I can swear to you, the universe hates writers. The moment you sit down to write, 20 telemarketers are going to call. People are going to be texting you. People are going to be emailing you. People are going to be making comments on stuff. The moment you sit down to do something artistic is when the universe decides to be a jerk about it. So he is the god of being like, okay, we have to get rid of all the distractions possible. You have to turn off your phone. You have to turn off any kind of, well, like say gaming stuff or internet stuff or whatever. You have to get rid of all the distractions you can. Now, unfortunately, you can't set up a force field around your house so that, you know, nobody can come to your front door, but you have to minimize the distractions and the constant interruptions because it's usually what ruins the artistic process. So he is a god about treating that as a sacred thing, because it is, and giving yourself the place to create in. If you have to be in a video game like this to record because suddenly your brain's not working any other way, that's fine. The people that are meant to get the work are going to get it, and the people that aren't going to get it. And that's just going to be the way it's going to be. And he's the god of, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from other mediums. So, like, say you record every day. There's nothing wrong with reading a book, or going to an art gallery, or going to a museum, or playing a video game, or going out in nature, or doing whatever you do to get inspiration, because we all have these things that we do that, you know, help us. And being older, and he's very frank about it, he's the god of, you know, teaching us to slow down. Especially with YouTube, people want to come on YouTube, and within 3 hours they expect to be a millionaire. Seriously, they expect this to have happened. Very few of us want to put in the years, and then you see people that have put in the years and they're still not famous. In fact, they're still the same tiny channel they were years ago. And some people don't want that. What they were really after is fame. What they were really after is money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But part of being an artist is accepting that, you know, some of us are going to end up in those tiny art galleries that maybe 4 people a year visit, and we better have a side hustle. And some of us are going to end up with teeny tiny channels or writing articles that maybe 20 people do bother to read, or writing on a tiny town newspaper, or whatever we do might be in a very tiny platform. And he can be the god to bring you back to reality, even though he's the god of inspiration, and say, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being small. If all we had were the bestseller list books, for example, there would be billions, if not trillions, of books that would just disappear off the face of the planet. The same for poetry, the same for everything else. So he's the one to teach you the value, too, of those little small, niche, out-of-the-way places, or those tiny books, and he's the one to actually deliberately push you away from chasing after fame or chasing after money. Not that it's evil or anything in his eyes, but that if that's the only thing you're after and you're not worried about perfecting your craft or doing something useful, or you truly don't love your craft, you're just trying to do it to generate money, you're going to burn out. And you're going to burn out in a spectacular fashion. I can tell you will, because as much as I love playing video games, when that never morphed into a career, I burned out, and I burned out in the worst way possible. So, you know, he is the god of just teaching you to be realistic of all things, too. And that is a totally different video than I made this afternoon, but this afternoon I was getting too wrapped up in what everyone else thought of Bragi. I'm like, wait, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing on this channel. I'm not supposed to be giving you... I try to give you a brief brushstroke overview, but, you know, it's not my job to always sit here and try to defend things. I'm not one of those, you know, film critique channels where I have to defend my choices. So, if you guys like what you see, and I hope that halfway made sense, but it's kind of like this nebulous thing where it feels like Bragi is more the one to walk you through the artistic process and to have the patience to work with you, where Odin is like, I vaguely gave you inspiration, now show me your finished product. It's more like the difference between working with the king, or working for the king, I should say, or working with the king's, you know, skald, because that's going to be the guy that's a musician who writes the music lyrics, who knows what the hell he's talking about. That's actually the guy you want to work with. All due respect and love to Odin. Odin kind of pieces out on me all the time, where, you know, Bragi, even though we don't work as often, he's always been kind and even-tempered. If you work with him, then you get to work with Eden, and it's a bonus. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.